Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I really appreciate it. So, on this channel, I usually talk about philosophy and self-improvement, but today I'm going to share one of my life experiences that made me tougher as a person and increased my tolerance for shitty jobs. Like, every time I work on shitty tasks, assignments, and jobs, I look back on this moment and tell myself, okay, this is tough, challenging, but compared to the job, this is cute. This is nothing. I can get through it. So it always empowers me. So I'm gonna share this traumatizing PTSD level experience here. It's interesting, alright? So stick around. It was November 2011 when I was 16. I was a degenerate high school dropout working construction back in the day. And in 2011, I was doing demolition work. And the industry was extremely busy that year because of a massive earthquake that hit my hometown, 311. It was that year. So we were busy with doing disaster recovery work and debris removal, that kind of stuff. I was sent to the coastal areas to help them clean up the mess. And one of the cleanup sites I was sent to was this fish meal processing plant, and it was like hell. It was so stinky that we had to wear hazmat suits and masks while working. To be clear, there was no radiation, but we had to wear all these suits and masks for protection. And it didn't work against this smell. It penetrated them and stuck with my clothes. It wouldn't even come off after washing them. It was that stinky. It smelled like death. It was a combination of vomit, sewage, poop, and fermented fish. Like, I'm talking about rotten, wet fish meal that was left in the tank for 8 months after 311. It was ripe. So, sellable dry fish meal is already stinky, right? But leaving it behind for 8 months, multiply the smell by 10 times or something. It was just beyond stinky. To describe this smell, it could reach a parking lot that was 100 meters away, literally. And at 100 meters away, you frown at the smell. It was that stinky, right? So imagine working in that plant, walking around the ground zero, that tank. I couldn't, I did get through it, but I was just, constantly like fainting and vomiting, and, I almost passed out. Like, even with the suit on, I was like just fainting all the time. I was like, oh, oh, I'm nauseous. Please, let me out, please, the whole time. And I almost passed out of smell. And our job there was to get rid of this huge tank that was processing fish meal and remove the debris inside the plant, right? And the tank was so huge, like it was 10 meters wide and 2 meters tall. It was like sideways and so huge. So and there was chock full of fish meal inside the tank. So it looked like a giant turd because it looked brown and smelled like poop, right? It was just huge. And we started with removing fish meal manually. And there are four guys, right? The foreman, the older guy, my friend, and me. And of course, the young guns had to remove fish meal, right? With crowbars and shovels. We did it. And it took us like 2 days to fully clean it out inside the tank, right? And I was really miserable. And we moved on to flame cutting the tank, right? And the tank was so thick, like this thick, so we had to use a heavy duty cutting torch to cut it into pieces. And we couldn't get heavy equipment inside the plant, so we had to do everything manually, right? So it took us like 2 weeks to get the job done. It was just crazy. And the smell was intensifying as we went on because even though we removed the fish meal, there was still residue of it inside the tank on the surface. So as we flame cut it, we were basically burning fish meal, right? So smell was intensifying. It was just crazy. And as I was, cutting it, I felt really miserable because if you think about it, I was only 16, right? And people my age was still in high school, studying, happy, chatting, right, I felt miserable. Why am I here smelling like shit, cutting basically poop, right? I hit rock bottom that week. And the disaster recovery work after 311 was tough across the board, regardless of types of work, because you'd see a lot of dead bodies everywhere, and sights of destruction would make you feel gloomy and depressed. But this one took the cake. This one was the most traumatizing, PTSD-inducing experience for me. It's not even comparable to anything. And the craziest part is that my wage was 7,000 yen a day. Are you kidding? It was only 7,000 yen. And I deserved more, I deserved like 10 times more, I guess, considering the smell and the trauma that I experienced. But in retrospect, it was a great experience. It was priceless because it added depth to my character and gave me a funny story to share, even on YouTube. It was overall great, right? So sometimes it is maybe a good idea to get into suffering like hardship, right? Because people who went through shit tend to be more interesting, deeper, and like charismatic as people, right? So negativity generates positivity, right? So get into shitty experiences and learn things and become stronger, like they build character and make you stronger, like shape you who you are, right? It's all good. So yeah, I just want to talk about this traumatizing, crazy experience with you guys. So if you found this video funny, let me know in the comments. See ya.